Hey, what's up everybody? It's Joe here with J. Blake Photo. It looks like DJI got tired of us speculating on some of the rumors that we have, and now we just have most of the info. So let's jump in and talk about the DJI Mavic 3s. Real quick before we jump into the information about the new drone, I just want to put in a quick plug for the channel. If you like things like photography, cinematography, drones, gear, and just general tech goodness, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And if you like videos like this where we talk about some of the stuff that's coming up, go ahead and like this video. Also, if you're interested in stills photography, go ahead and find me over on Instagram. I am at jblakephoto. That's enough of the plugs. Let's move into the info on this drone. So in the previous videos that I had done, we'd talked about what would be a redesigned Mavic 3, that it would come in at least one model, and that model would be coming with a dual camera setup with two different cameras in one drone, unlike the previous iteration with the Mavic 2 Pro and Mavic 2 Zoom, where you had two different drones. I think they probably understood that that was splitting the market, and what they wanted to do was kind of put it all together. So now we have more details on that new drone with that new camera system. So what has effectively been confirmed is that we will be getting both cameras. One will be a 20 megapixel 1-inch sensor with a 2.8 aperture and the standard 24 millimeter equivalent zoom range. It will have an improved vision and obstacle avoidance system and come with all of the version +1 with things like hyperlapse and quick shot modes and panoramas and all that sort of stuff. It'll also be adding an assist mode that will help with more kind of complicated moves on the drone, which will be super fun. Now for the zoom camera, for the second camera that will be coming in this system, we saw that it was labeled with a 7x optical zoom indicator, which I thought meant that it would zoom as much as 7 times. But what we're actually learning now is that it will be a fixed focal length. And what that means is that you won't be able to zoom in and out, but it will have a fixed set point where it will be zoomed to. So if you do the 7x multiplier of the 24 millimeter equivalent, you end up with something around 170 millimeters, which that's about what we're being told with about a 14-degree field of view. That's a pretty serious telephoto style camera. So you're going to be getting a really deep zoom telephoto camera on what I'm sure is going to be a 1 2/3 inch sensor. I hate that measurement on the top of the camera system, and then again that 24 millimeter 20 megapixel 2.8 f aperture variable to f11 on the bottom, and that those two will work together. And this 165, 170 millimeter equivalent lens on the top will have a f4.4 aperture, which is weird, but considering how long that lens is, that's actually pretty decent and should be really interesting. I don't know. You guys tell me down in the comments what you think about that. I'm worried about things like stabilization. I'm worried about, I don't know, there's a lot of unanswered questions. We'll have to see it in action to see how it does. So we have the camera systems. We also have a confirmation that this will have 46 minutes of flight time, which is a huge increase over the existing Mavic 2 drones with about 35 minutes of flight time. And that's measured in kind of a no wind environment going about 15 miles an hour, though it will be able to go up to 40, 45 miles an hour. We also had those rumors that there would be two different versions, or at least the drone would be coming with a built-in SSD. That has pretty much been confirmed. That there will be one version that will have an SD card slot, and there will be another version that will actually come with a high-end SSD and probably a Thunderbolt 4 cable. What was not included in this information was whether or not that ProRes feature would be included, or if it would differentiate the higher end model, which is being labeled kind of a cinema version of the Mavic 3. So we might end up with a Mavic 3 and a Mavic 3 Cinema. Looks like we're also going to be getting a remodel of the smart controller. So we'll get a version 2 of the smart controller that will also be packing LTE, still running Android, still with a 1080p screen, still with about 3 hours battery life. but with LTE that should help with things like location tracking and some of the safety features that are going to be coming and that have been coming in drones in the future as far as notification for other flyers that are around you. You have to have the ability to do that. And then lastly, it looks like we're going to be getting a price of $15.99 for the drone, the basic controller, one battery. No specific indication of what the cost would be on a Fly More combo with the additional batteries, additional propellers, and potentially the cost of this new updated smart controller, but I'm sure we're going to get that really soon. And no details on the cost for the cinema mode or the cinema version of this drone that will come with the 1 or 2 terabyte SSD. Though my expectation is probably about $1,000 premium. $24.99, maybe $23.99 is what I'd say. If the drone itself is going to be $15.99 and maybe $17.99 for the Fly More combo, I would definitely say $2,400, $2,500. So to recap, dual cameras pretty much confirmed. We've got a 20 megapixel 1-inch sensor with a 24 millimeter equivalent focal range. We have a smaller sensor on a 7x zoom or about 165 to 170 millimeter focal range. That's 7x zoom from the 24 mil. 45 minutes of flight time, $15.99 pricing, no indication of when we'd be getting the drone, and also no specific pricing on this cinema model that'll be coming. That'll have the SSD and potentially support ProRes. That is all stuff that's still in the unknown. And again, we've got a smart controller coming. That's a lot of stuff. That's a big deal. And I am very excited for it. If you've been watching the coverage on the new Apple iPhone 13, especially the iPhone 13 Pro, that actually started hitting doorsteps today. Mine will not be here until the 6th because I got up late to order it. But if you look at those Pros and you look at the 3 gigabyte per minute rate that they're looking at shooting ProRes on it, because it will have ProRes in the new iOS 15.1 update, it'll be likely the ProRes LT. So if you shoot with ProRes or if you edit in ProRes, that is the 422 version. My hope is that the ProRes version we get out of this drone will be the HQ or better, so that it will include both 422 10-bit, so that we can basically get that super high quality HDR function straight out of the camera and be able to edit with that and go into HDR workflows. I'm sure that is the direction that they're going to be heading with this. There was also a rumor out there that this camera would have a 4/3 inch sensor. I don't see that anywhere here. I'm not sure what that's about, but I may do some additional research into that and have something to share a little bit later. Thank you again for watching. Again, if you're into stuff like this, go ahead and hit subscribe. And if this was a video that you enjoyed, go ahead and hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.